So, once again, a very good morning to everyone. And let's begin with a quick question that how many of you have ever opened Instagram the moment you felt bored? And how many of you have reached for your phone during an awkward silence? And how many of you have eaten not just because you were hungry, but because you were anxious, sad, or let's say just uncomfortable? Thank you. Thank you for the acknowledgement. And we live in the age of instant everything, right? Instant food delivery, instant entertainment, instant relief. And we become so good at running away from discomfort that we have forgotten how to simply sit with it. And that's exactly what we are going to explore today. Learning to sit with discomfort, right? So, but we treat it like, like a home invasion, don't we? The moment we feel uncomfortable, we panic. We reach for distractions. We scroll, we shop, we snack, we do anything to make it go away. Because somewhere along the way, we convinced ourselves that discomfort is dangerous. Let me tell you about Anjali. She's 28-year-old who just had a difficult conversation with her boss about a project that didn't go well. The moment she leaves that meeting room, her chest feels tight, her mind is racing, and within seconds, literally seconds, her thumb is already opening Flipkart. Maybe I need new curtains, she thinks. And by evening, she's ordered three things she doesn't need, binged an entire series, and eaten half a packet of Parle-G. So the discomfort from that meeting, still there, just buried under a pile of temporary fixes. And here's the uncomfortable truth: avoidance doesn't make discomfort disappear, it strengthens it. It teaches your brain that discomfort is something to fear, something you can't handle. You know what's wild? We've become so skilled at avoiding discomfort that we don't even realize we are doing it anymore. It's become our default setting. So, let's say your husband says something that hurts your feelings, and you immediately start cleaning the kitchen instead of having the conversation. Your teenage daughter shuts you out. You bury yourself in work rather than sitting with the pain of that distance. You feel lonely? You turn on the TV, scroll through reels, call five people, anything, but actually feel the loneliness. But here's what nobody tells you: the only way out is through. Let me tell you about Rajesh. He's a 42-year-old guy who recently lost his father. Now, at the funeral, everyone kept saying, "Be strong, don't cry, you are the man of the house now." So he didn't. He held it together, went back to work the next week, kept busy, stayed strong. Until 3 months later, when he couldn't get out of bed, when the grief he's been running from finally caught up with him and knocked him flat. His therapist told him something beautiful: you don't heal by avoiding the pain, you heal by allowing yourself to feel it. So Rajesh did something radical. He sat with it. He let himself cry. He let himself miss his father without immediately trying to fix it or distract himself. And slowly, of course, not just overnight, but slowly, the heaviness began to lift. Not because the grief disappeared, but because he stopped fighting it. So, this is what sitting with discomfort actually means. It means learning to be present with what is, even when what is feels terrible. And now I know what some of you are thinking, but isn't this just suffering? Why would I deliberately sit with something that feels bad? So I would say it's a great question. But here's the difference: suffering is resisting the discomfort, sitting with it is allowing it. So one exhausts you and the other liberates you. Think about it like this: you know that feeling when you really need to cry, but you hold it in? Your throat gets tight, your chest feels heavy, your head starts to ache. That's resistance, and that's suffering. But when you finally let yourself cry, there's relief, there's release. Even though tears themselves aren't comfortable, the act of allowing them is healing. So, sitting with discomfort dissolves it. Not immediately, of course, not magically, but eventually. Because when you stop running, when you stop numbing, when you stop fighting, the discomfort has permission to move through you instead of getting stuck inside you. And here's what this looks like in real life: is the young women who feel anxious about an upcoming exam, and instead of doom scrolling for 3 hours, she sits quietly and asks herself, what am I really afraid of? And then she listens to the answer. It's the mother who feels guilty about shouting at a child, and instead of immediately drowning it in overcompensation, buying toys, making special food, she sits with that guilt, learns from it, and genuinely apologizes. Or is the man who feels inadequate because his salary isn't as high as his friends, and instead of pretending he's fine or making excuses, he sits with that feeling and asks himself, is my worth really tied to my paycheck? So growth happens in the pause, in that space between the uncomfortable feeling and your urge to make it go away. And that's where the magic is. That's where you build emotional tolerance. That's where you build inner strength. And let me tell you something powerful. Every time you sit with discomfort instead of running from it, you send your brain a message: I can handle this. I am stronger than this feeling. So you're not being dramatic. You're not being weak. You're being brave, because it may takes more courage to sit still in the storm than to run from it. And I'm not saying you should never have chai when you're stressed or watch a show when you're tired. I'm saying notice. Notice when you're doing something to genuinely rest versus when you're doing it to avoid the feeling. Are you eating because you're hungry or because you don't want to sit with that argument you had this morning? Are you scrolling because you need a break or because you are avoiding the discomfort of being alone with your thoughts? The body knows. And if you listen, it'll tell you. So here's my beautiful thought for you today. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your teacher. It shows up not to break you, but to show you what you are made of. So, every uncomfortable feeling you've ever tried to numb, avoid, or run from, it's carrying a message for you. And the only way to receive that message is to sit still long enough to hear it. Yes. So, here's your exercise, and it's deceptively simple. Today, set a timer for just 2 minutes. Yes. Sit quietly, no phone, no distractions. Yes. No phone. That is very important. It's a huge distraction, phone nowadays. And choose one uncomfortable feeling you have been avoiding. Maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's loneliness, maybe it's anger. And just sit with it. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to understand it. Don't try to make it go away. Just notice it. Where does it sit in your body? Is it in your chest, your stomach, your shoulders? And what does it feel like? Tight, heavy, fluttery? And then, here's the powerful part, breathe through it. Slow, deep breaths in and out, like you're making space for this feeling to exist without letting it consume you. Just 2 minutes, that's all. You're not trying to become a meditation master. You are just practicing being present with what is. Yes. Because when you can sit with discomfort for 2 minutes, you can sit with it for five and then 10. And eventually, discomfort loses its power over you. It becomes what it always was, a visitor, not a permanent resident. And when you learn to sit with discomfort, you unlock something incredible. You become unshakable. Not because nothing bothers you, but because you know you can handle whatever comes. So, with that thought, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you.